Good evening. Welcome to our program. Welcome to Upper St. Clair High School, one of the nation's excellent schools. Would you please stand for the national anthem to be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to introduce to you this evening those people on the dais whom you will not meet later on in the program. To your left, our Student Council President for this year, Mr. Bus McAnally. Bus, would you please stand? Seated next to Bus is Ms. Rosemary Mellick. Mrs. Mellick began the PTSO, the Parent Teacher Student Organization, approximately 6 years ago. She was its president for 2 years. Rosemary Mellick. 5 members of the school board are with us this evening. Would you please hold our applause until the end? They are Mrs. Sally Lewis. Please rise, thank you. Mr. Hank Burgoyne, Mary Leininger, Mr. Peter Wellington, and Ms. Dinah Fulmer. In the first row, we have some people who should be recognized. We have some people who should be recognized for their contributions to our high school, and I would like them to stand and be recognized. Past presidents of the PTSO, Ron and Carolyn Rappaport, Jim and Gretchen Hilborn, you met Hank Burgoyne. His wife, Ann Burgoyne, was our president last year. Our current president, Wilda and Art Wilson. We have 3 former administrators of the school district who contributed in positive manners to get us where we are today. They are Mr. George Betcher, former superintendent, Dr. Niles Norman, the first principal of Upper St. Clair High School. He's lived to tell about it. Dr. Stan Zingle. Others, Mr. Fred Wickstrom, who is president of the Upper St. Clair Education Association. And Mr. Ron Pardini, Assistant Chief of Police, and Sergeant Bryson from the Upper St. Clair Township Police. Representing Senator Arlen Specter is Staff Representative Vernon Jackson.
The Senator asked me to bring this letter to you today. It's addressed to the students, faculty, administration, and parents of Upper St. Clair High School. Dear friends, Pennsylvania has a proud heritage of public school education and of public school excellence. You are to be congratulated for carrying on this tradition as exemplified by the award you're receiving. My hope is that you will continue to work diligently to maintain your excellence and to continue as an example for other Pennsylvania school districts. I regret I cannot be with you as you celebrate tonight, but please accept my best wishes. Signed, Arlen Specter.
When we were invited to Washington to receive the award, districts were allowed to send 3 representatives. Principals were invited. The district had the option of choosing among several to fill 2 other spots. Our superintendent, Dr. Christiana, went with us, and we were one of the few schools that selected a teacher. Our count, there were about only 7 or 8 other schools that sent a teacher as a representative. This person is an English teacher on our faculty. She is a graduate of Upper St. Clair High School, Mrs. Karen Thompson.
On behalf of the Upper St. Clair High School faculty, I welcome you all here this evening in our celebration. Tonight we function as one body to extend and to receive recognition for our contributions that developed a distinguished secondary school in the United States. Definitely because of the opportunities extended to us and the challenges that we willingly accepted as a staff, Upper St. Clair High School possesses the marks of distinction that Secretary Bell elaborated upon. We do have a strong curriculum. We have a system of constant self-evaluation. And lastly, we have a program to maintain and develop the professional staff. It is our high school staff's belief that with your continued cooperative support and efforts, that we will maintain and expand our educational standards here at Upper St. Clair, and that we can continue to meet the expectations placed upon a school marked for its excellence. Truly, success and education are much alike. Each is the result of a series of changes made to meet the challenges of a tomorrow, and neither one is final without the effort to move forward.
Thank you, Karen. Our representative who came to visit us last May was Dr. Joseph Newland. He was a professor of Colorado State University. He was a rather unique evaluator. Professor Newland at Colorado State makes a profession of studying schools, colleges, universities, but particularly secondary schools throughout the nation. He is the head of the Colorado State Study Council in that area. This gentleman knows schools. This gentleman visited 12 schools. Of the 12 schools that he visited, he eliminated, so as to speak, or chose not to recognize, or chose some schools not to be worthy. 25% of Dr. Newland's schools were not winners in the secondary school recognition program. Dr. Newland knows schools. Dr. Newland made some comments about the faculty of Upper St. Clair High School. He said, "I saw a dynamite math teacher." He said, "There is tremendous teaching in Upper St. Clair." He said, "There is none better of all the schools that I've seen." Lots of teachers here could teach at Colorado State University. Pupils seem interested in learning and anxious to participate in class. There is great interaction between teachers and pupils in the classroom. Mr. Hendricks, Mr. Harshman, and I regularly observe teachers. As a group, this faculty exhibits, in our opinion, the elements of quality in classroom instruction. They have established reasonable order in the classroom. They have provided encouragement to the pupils. They have provided adequate methods and provisions for feedback. They employ a variety of methods and activities. They are well organized, and they have established clear objectives and expectations for the students. At this time, I would like the faculty to rise. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to present to you one of the best teaching faculties in the United States of America, the faculty of Upper St. Clair High School. Thank you. There is another group that works pretty hard to contribute to excellence, and they are administrators with whom I work. I would like to introduce them at this time. Would you please hold your applause to the end? They are our superintendent of schools, Dr. Christiana. Dr. Christiana, would you please stand? Administrators at the high school, Mr. Carr, who is director of guidance at our high school. 2 associate principals. The principalship of any modern-day complex high school is more than one person. Mr. Hendricks, associate principal for grades 11 and 12. Mr. Harshman, associate principal for grades 9 and 10. Mrs. Luke is president of the USC Educational Administrative Association. She is also supervisor of curriculum instruction, grades K to 12. Principals in the various buildings, Mr. Welsh, principal of Boyce. Dr. Furman, principal of Baker. Gentlemen, do you mind facing the audience? I think they'd like to get a good look at Mr. Small, principal of Streams. Dr. Vergai, principal of Eisenhower. Mr. Wasson, principal of Fort Couch. Those working in a supportive capacity, many of the programs that we have in our schools are due to the efforts of these people who work directly with staff in our buildings. Mr. Carl. Mr. Carl Lenston, supervisor of curriculum and instruction. Dr. William Pope, supervisor of curriculum and instruction. Mr. Bryce Hatch, supervisor of special education and pupil personnel services. Mrs. Murin, school psychologist. Richard Mancini, business manager. Don Mincher, director of special projects and director of professional personnel. This administrative group, I'm proud to say, is simply characterized by hard work, the willingness to solve problems. They have an empathetic nature about them. They have a great deal of patience. They have a great deal of perseverance. and they're very, very energetic. I'm proud and privileged to be counted among them. I'm proud and privileged to have a youngster in Upper St. Clair School District who will be under their guidance and direction. And I think this group is characterized by quality. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that this group of administrators standing before you also represents one of the finest administrative staffs in the United States. Thank you. Dr. Christiana is our Superintendent of Schools. Dr. Christiana.
Thank you, Dr. Hoffman. It is my pleasure this evening to call our attention to the fact that the Excellence in Education Award to Upper St. Clair High School was made possible because the efforts of many teachers, administrators, and support staff who have worked with our young people since kindergarten, preparing them for the excellence that is evident in Upper St. Clair High School. We all share in the responsibility for the education of our youth, the students for themselves, the parents, the community at large, and the staff. And with that responsibility goes the right for all of us to share in the joy and respect that come with this award for excellence in education. Therefore, in recognition of this, it is my pleasure to present to each school community and the community at large a copy of the flag presented to Dr. Hoffman by the Honorable T.H. Bell, United States Secretary of Education, on August 27, 1984, in Washington, D.C. This flag, to be flown and displayed as official recognition by the United States Department of Education and the Office of the President of the United States of America, that Upper St. Clair schools are excellent, and Upper St. Clair is a very special place. Now I would like to introduce the principals of our buildings and the teacher representative, and if both of you will come up here, I will present you with the flag, Excellence in Education. So Dr. Furman and Ms. Lopez, if you'll come forward, please. From Boyce Middle School, Mr. Welch and Ms. Altenoff. From Eisenhower Elementary School, Mr. Dr. Brogai and Ms. Modrak. From Fort Couch Middle School, Mr. Jack Wasson and Mr. Flynn. And from Streams Elementary School, Mr. John Small and Ms. Cindy Golding. And representing the Upper St. Clair community, I would like to introduce Mr. Wally Huff, President of the Upper St. Clair Board of Commissioners.
I am delighted to be with you this evening to honor one of the 202 public secondary schools recognized by President Reagan and Secretary Bell for outstanding progress toward excellence in education. Ladies and gentlemen, there is very good news about education all across this great country. The recent Gallup poll on education found that there has been a dramatic increase in the number of Americans who think their schools are doing a good job. 42% assigned the schools an A or B in the survey that was conducted last spring. This is the highest rating since 1976, and it led pollster George Gallup to conclude that public confidence in education is the strongest in more than a decade. This same survey also found that as Americans learn more about the successes of their schools, they are willing to spend more money to support them. That, too, is a very important and positive change. The cover story of a recent issue of the U.S. News and World Report featured several schools that were recognized during the first year of the Secondary School Recognition Program. The story begins with the following assessment of these schools in bold type, and I quote, "As the U.S. urgently seeks to raise its educational standards, a pioneering group of innovative public schools is blazing the way with nationwide impact. The achievements of Upper St. Clair Middle School are an important part of the reason for the renewed confidence in our schools. Your school and your strong commitment to excellence in education are a big part of the good news. Congratulations." In a speech at the National Secondary School Recognition Ceremony in Washington, President Reagan noted that many of the nation's schools are not as successful as those that have been recognized in this program. A prolonged period of declining SAT scores, serious problems with vandalism and disruptive behavior, increased drug and alcohol abuse, lack of support from families and communities, poor instruction in the classroom have resulted in a general erosion of public confidence, and more significantly, what the National Commission on Excellence called a rising tide of mediocrity that threatens the security and well-being of the entire nation. But that is changing. The Commission report and the other major reports on secondary education have given rise to a reform movement in education that is the most sweeping effort to improve schools that we have witnessed in the 20th century. Signs of change are everywhere. Virtually every state in the Union has established at least one task force to concentrate on educational issues and to recommend specific changes. When we last surveyed the states, we found that 48 are now considering new, tougher graduation requirements, and 35 have already made major changes. 21 have major initiatives to improve textbooks and other instructional materials. 8 have approved lengthening the school day, 7 lengthening the school year, and 18 have mandated affecting the amount of time available for instruction. 24 are examining master teacher or career ladder programs, and 6 have initiated statewide or pilot programs. 13 are considering changes in academic requirements for extracurricular and athletic programs, and 5 have already adopted more rigorous standards. But the most significant progress is being made in schools such as Upper St. Clair Middle School. The teachers, principals, student, and community have joined together to build an educational program that works for all. In reviewing the nomination form and site visit report on Upper St. Clair Middle School, we were impressed by the support for the school coming from the entire school district, the extraordinary level of involvement maintained by parents, the large number of students enrolled in advanced study or honor classes, 266 in English, 207 in math, 246 in social studies, 258 in science, and 89 in foreign language. An energetic and highly dedicated staff, student involvement in community activities such as Community Day, consistently high ability test scores, a number of outstanding programs such as an outstanding guidance program with Mr. Carr receiving honors as Counselor of the Year, an exemplary discipline program, a mathematics department for computer usage, an alcohol and drug abuse education program. And currently, the Upper St. Clair Middle School is nominated as one of the schools that has gained outstanding public confidence. A number of awards that were received by the students, such as yearbook, first place in American Press Association competition, most national merit semifinalists in Pennsylvania, 3 finalists of 10 in the statewide writing contest conducted jointly by Penn State and the Pennsylvania Council of Teachers of English, 99th percentile on educational quality assessment tests in all cognitive areas, and a presidential scholar. These are impressive accomplishments, and there is every indication that your successes will continue. It is successes such as these that led the members of the National Commission on Excellence to be optimistic about the future of American public education. Nowhere is this optimism better reflected than in the title of the last chapter of the report, which is simply "America Can Do It." Your school is a shining example of the Commission's prognosis for the future. It will become a beacon for others who are seeking ways to improve. Indeed, in the next few months, the eyes of the nation will be turned on this school and the other 201 that have been recognized. Many will seek you out to learn more about your achievements, and many will want to visit your school, sometimes for days on end. Our site visitor was struck by your candor and your general willingness to share your insights and experiences. I urge you to continue to share. You can do much that we in Washington could never begin to accomplish by continuing to work with your colleagues from other schools and other communities. We will do all that we can to facilitate that sharing, but the direct responsibility for communicating will be yours. Obviously, the challenges to you are great, but perhaps the greatest challenge is to be more successful this year than you were last year. In recognizing your accomplishments thus far, President Reagan and Secretary Bell are expressing their confidence that you will meet this challenge. I will close by thanking you on behalf of all Americans for your commitment and for your contribution to the quality of life in this great nation. I would now like to present the Secondary School Recognition Program Award for Outstanding Progress Toward Excellence in Education to the Upper St. Clair High School Board President, Mr. John Fussell.
Thank you, Mrs. Wills. Gee, you know, with all this, it could raise a few goosebumps and a lump in the throat, too. And I'm certainly glad that while we are honoring Upper St. Clair High School for excellence, we also feel we have 2 very excellent middle schools. It is indeed a great honor for me to accept this plaque, and I do so on behalf of all the citizens of Upper St. Clair. The fundamental reason for the excellence of Upper St. Clair High School starts with its citizens. a strong belief that a good education is an absolute necessity. From this belief flow all the many things which ultimately result in a superior high school. Such things as parents instilling in their children the values of education, and then motivating and inspiring them to reach a little higher and stretch a little farther. Involvement of all the community in the schools. There are literally hundreds of volunteers who help out in every aspect of the school activity. There's the PTAs, and in high school, the PTSO. Then there's the provision of resources. Within the last few weeks, most of us paid our real estate taxes, so we're all aware of what it takes to provide the resources. And while there's always the expectation in Upper St. Clair that the use of these resources will be well managed, this community has never hesitated to provide whatever resources are needed to do the job. The result of all this is a community climate which is totally supportive of excellence in education. And this climate makes it possible for us to attract the superior teachers who make up our outstanding professional staff. We can provide a capable, knowledgeable, and pioneering administrative staff, and a dedicated supporting staff of all the people who make the school system function: bus drivers, secretaries, cafeteria workers, mechanics and maintenance workers, and all the others. Thus, all of us are responsible for the excellence of Upper St. Clair schools, and specifically Upper St. Clair High School. We can all be proud that the Department of Education has cited Upper St. Clair High School for excellence. Dr. Hoffman, on behalf of the Board of School Directors and all the citizens of Upper St. Clair, I present this plaque to you with our thanks and congratulations.
Thank you. Some procedural business. One of the reasons we chose this format was that this is this kind of a day that your son or daughter experiences at Upper St. Clair High School. Oh yes, he gets his share of praises and sometimes blame, but I meant in terms of procedure. For example, next week we will have assembly. He or she will start off classes, go to assembly, and return to classes. That'll happen again near the end of October. A lot of people have asked me, what is our formula for success? There is no formula for success, in my opinion, to have a quality school. The schedules are different, the personnel is different, but I think there are some things that have been demonstrated tonight which indicates why our school, Upper St. Clair High School, is of quality. First of all, we have volunteers, such as the PTSO and those that merely volunteer their time in the Guidance Resource Center. We have a school board that has been receptive to ideas and has offered input to these ideas, and as John said, has allocated resources which are so necessary to get the job done. We have parents, such as myself, who insist upon quality for our students. We insist upon quality in administrators, quality of teachers, and quality of materials. That keeps us all very, very sharp. We have teachers who use a formalized process in Upper St. Clair to provide input into curriculum development. They keep abreast of their field. We have pupils who respond to a great deal of responsibility thrust upon them and rise to meet the expectations that we set as parents and that we set as school district. And we have quality of administrators who are willing to be open and honest about problems and work for a solution. I submit that minus any one of these 6 elements, and we might not be here tonight. Let's not forget our roles. Let's not forget the winning formula. Let's continue to keep Upper St. Clair on top. Dr. Newland made one comment when he left. He said, of all the schools that I visited, I would like my kids to go to Upper St. Clair High School. I submit there's no higher tribute that anyone can pay to any school. Congratulations, and thank you for a most pleasant evening.